Surviving without sugar is not quite as hard as you might think. My family of 4 stopped using refined sugar in 2021 to heal ourselves from chronic illness. And I have 7 steps to help you do it too.
Hi there, I'm Kim from the blog queenofheartsclub.com. I've spent the past year experimenting with ways to lower my blood pressure through habit formation. In 2021, I lowered my blood pressure from an average of 154 over 105 to an average of 125 over 74 naturally, without the use of medication. In 2022, I'm making one video per week every Sunday to show you exactly how I did that. So join me as I continue to explore the benefits of heart-healthy food, wellness habits, and joyful living.
I'm not gonna lie, cutting out sugar was hard because it's an addiction. My 11-year-old literally cried at breakfast one morning because he missed his Fruit Loops. But as part of my experiment to heal my high blood pressure during 2021, in the month of February, we eliminated refined sugar. And initially the goal was just to go for a month to see if we could go for a month without any sugar. And we did it. And we also saw great results. We got better sleep, we had better focus, and my blood pressure came down significantly. Speaking of blood pressure, my systolic rate, which is the pressure in your arteries during the contraction of your heart muscle, came down by, I have it right here, 7 millimeters of mercury just during the month of February, just cutting out sugar. My diastolic pressure, which is the pressure in your arteries when your heart rests between beats, came down by 5 millimeters of mercury. And my heart rate, most impressively, came down by 6 beats per minute, which was significant. During the whole year of the experiment, this was the month that my heart rate came down the most. So these results made us want to continue to live without sugar. Disclaimer, I'm not a doctor, I'm not a nutritionist. This is just something that worked for me, and I'm just sharing my tips with you. So let me tell you how we did it. Sugar is added to everything these days. It's addictive, and it's hidden in places that you don't expect. But through a few simple practices, my family was able to eliminate it altogether. And here's how we did it. Step 1, or secret number 1, set a date. This is the date that you are going to break up with sugar. You're gonna circle that date on the calendar, you're gonna put it on the fridge, make sure everyone can see it, and you're gonna make sure that this is 3 weeks or 4 weeks from today, because you wanna give yourself some time to prepare for this breakup. One of the things that you're gonna need to do to prepare is to decide what exactly you are going to be eating. My family continued to eat coconut sugar, we eat stevia, we eat maple syrup, and we eat honey. So if you put it in that way, if you give that frame of reference, it's kind of like you're not really giving up anything. It's important to discuss this with your family. You're gonna have to sit down and have a conversation with your kids about it, because this is gonna feel like a punishment to them. And the reason psychologically that it's gonna feel like a punishment is that we use sugar as a reward system in our culture. We have birthdays, you get a cake, you get a cake, you get a cake. It's your anniversary, you get a cookie bouquet. You get treats for Valentine's Day, you get treats for Easter, you get treats for Christmas, you get treats for Halloween. You beg strangers for treats for Halloween. This is the way we work. In fact, there is a literal reward that happens in your body when you feed it sugar. Physiologically, the brain produces dopamine when you have sugar. And this is one of the reasons it is so hard to kick this stuff. It's literally an addiction, physically and mentally. So just a warning, your kids are not going to be on board with this idea at the very beginning. Mine were not. One of the things that we actually talked about in our family is the reasons we are choosing to do this. We talked about how I have high blood pressure. I'm trying to lower my blood pressure in order to live a longer life with them. One of the things I think that hit home really well was my husband. The VA had just diagnosed him with pre-diabetes, and the elementary school that my kids attended really pressed the significance of diabetes. There was a program in their PE class where they learned about the dangers of this disease. And so I could really see the soberness in their face when they heard that daddy possibly is going to have diabetes someday. So we needed to fix that before it became a problem. There's no need to scare them or anything, but it's important that they know the reasons that you're doing this. It's important for them to be on board. Secret number 2, prep your kitchen. 2 weeks before your breakup with sugar, you're gonna take everything out of your pantry, every single thing. You're gonna put it on the counter. You're going to read the labels of every single thing that you pulled out of your pantry. And if the word sugar, or in a minute, I'm gonna give you a list of other things that it could be, appears on that list, you're gonna put it in a box, the sugar box. You're gonna do the same thing in the fridge and the freezer. Take everything out, read every single label, trust me on this. Everything that has sugar in it will go on the top shelf of the fridge, the top shelf of the freezer, or create a designated spot, whatever works for you. Now, the reason I want you to read every single label, and I'm really gonna harp on that, is because sugar is in everything. It's in everything. Even the things that you don't think are going to have sugar in them, have sugar in them. I had a can of kidney beans that I thought, oh, that's just kidney beans. Surely there's no sugar in there, but there was. I also had a can of tomato sauce that I used to buy in bulk from Costco. It's tomato sauce. Why would there be sugar added to that? Why indeed? But there was sugar in it. So I had to get rid of those things. I had to put them in the box. Sugar is not just for sweetening. It was also one of the earliest and the best food preservatives. For decades, people used sugar as a preservative to store their food for the winter, to get their family through to the next harvest. But we don't worry about that anymore. Our next harvest is our next grocery store run, so we don't actually need that preservative anymore. But manufacturers know that dopamine is produced in your body once you have it. So they put it in their product so that you keep coming back for more. And they've gotten really sneaky lately about adding the sugar to the products and then calling it something else so you don't immediately recognize that it's there. Here's some other words for sugar on nutrition labels. I'm going to put these words in the description box below so that you can come back and reference them anytime you need to. So it's 2 weeks before your sugar breakup. You've put everything from the pantry that has sugar in it into the box. And then you tell your family that they have 2 weeks to eat everything that's left in that box, everything that's on the top shelf of the fridge, everything that's on the top shelf of the freezer. Give them that space, that window to eat that sugar before it's gone for good. As you grocery shop for the next 2 weeks, this is going to be your transition period. You're going to focus on continuing to read those labels and continuing to learn about the things that you normally eat and figuring out what you can substitute. This is going to be a learning process. So forgive yourself during these 2 weeks. If you find something, if you figure out that your favorite thing in the world has sugar in it, and you want to keep buying it, just keep buying it for that 2 weeks. This is your grace period. Use it to supply yourself with some grace. The day before that circled date on the calendar, get all of that sugar out of your house the day before. So donate anything that's unopened, maybe give some things that are opened and are full to family and friends, or just throw it in the trash. Whatever works for you. I don't recommend you throw it in the trash because it's food, but get rid of it in the best way that you can. But you want to get that out of your house. Get all of it out of your house the day before so that you wake up the next morning fully sugar-free and ready to tackle the day. Secret number 3, shop online. Now that you've prepped your kitchen, you want to refill it with all the best foods. And a great way to do this without going crazy is to shop online. Now, the pandemic has really kicked up the amount of grocery stores that offer a curbside service. So this is a really great option because you're gonna have to keep doing what you did before. You're gonna have to keep reading every single label. And this can become tiresome. So maybe break it up into little increments. Give yourself a few days to put things in the grocery cart online and make sure you're ordering the things that'll work best for you. This will keep it from being really overwhelming. Most online ordering systems have a reorder everything feature, just a little button that you push so that whatever you ordered last week, you can order this week without having to go in and redo it all. So use that to your advantage. Use the technology in a way that helps you. Now, for some pantry items, I've been relying on some online retailers like Thrive Market or VitaCost. They have really good options. A lot of their options are already going to lean in the healthier direction, but they do still have some sugar in some of their products, so you still have to read the labels for those. Shopping online is really going to prevent you from spending so much time reading the labels in the store. That's going to drive you crazy. Don't do that. Secret number 4, find substitutions. After some exploration, you are going to find that there are substitutions for almost everything. I have not missed the things that I used to eat with sugar in them. My tummy was growling. Could you hear that? Yum, yum. Talking about food. I have not missed the things that I love eating, the things that I loved eating before we cut out sugar. I haven't missed any of those because I have found qualified substitutions that don't spike my sugar when I eat them. This is key because the goal of this experiment is to be sustainable. You want to make small goals, small changes in your life that you can actually sustain over a long period of time to keep your blood pressure low. These are not things that you're gonna do and then forget about because then your blood pressure is gonna go up again. And this is not gonna be a sustainable situation if you are not enjoying it. You have to find joy in the process. If you need a brownie because you love brownies, I have a substitution for that. Simple Mills makes a great brownie mix. You can buy it on Thrive Market. I have a favorite family recipe, chocolate oatmeal. It's the no-bake cookies that your grandma probably made. And my grandma definitely made them and they were fantastic. And they're my favorite thing in the world. I have figured out a way to make those sugar-free. I'll link the recipe for that down below if you're interested. You will find ways to make this work. You will find substitutions and you will not have to go without. You can eat bread. I realize lots of bread has sugar in it, but sourdough bread uses the bacteria in the whatever live thing that's happening in there to help it rise. It doesn't have to use sugar to feed the yeast. Or even if you're using bread with yeast, you can use honey to feed the yeast. It doesn't have to be white refined sugar. Lily's chocolate. It's a great substitution. I found it at our local grocery store. I think you can find it at Walmart. You can definitely find it on Thrive Market. Excellent chocolate made with stevia. Fantastic. What I used to really love is a chai latte from Starbucks, which has 42 grams of sugar in it, by the way. So I don't drink that anymore. I just make chai from a tea bag at home, add some maple syrup and some almond milk, and it's a great latte made at home. And it's not like $12. One thing I would be very careful about here though is the other ingredients on the food labels. The substitutions that I've mentioned so far all have fairly normal, real ingredients. But some sugar-free substitutions do not. Some bottles of liquid stevia have other ingredients added to them, flavorings and whatever. Most grocery stores have a section for diabetics with all sugar-free products, but if you read the labels, while they don't have sugar in them, they have some other crazy things in there. So you don't want to go from one poison to another. That's very important. Our goal is to find products with no added sugar, with the fewest amount of ingredients possible, and the most recognizable words on that ingredients list. I found a bag of Reese's Zero Sugar Miniatures peanut butter cups that have the following ingredients. Yeah, I don't know what half of those are either. But if you'll notice, it says adds a negligible amount of sugar on a lot of things there. You add negligible amounts of sugar all together and it becomes bigger amounts of sugar. So I don't even know how they can call that zero sugar. But that's another thing. The food industry, it's not really as regulated as you might think. And they can really say things like zero sugar and still put negligible amounts of sugar in their product. So this is why it's still important to read your labels. Make sure the food you're putting in your body is actual food, you know. So there's a couple of websites that I follow that have really been helpful in helping me stay sane while I'm trying to read every food label. One of the most helpful has been Flav City. Bobby from Flav City has a YouTube channel where he goes shopping for products. Like right now there's a sale happening at Costco and he has a video of him going into Costco and finding all the products that are on sale. He reads all the labels. He tells you, yes, this is Bobby approved and this is not Bobby approved. And so it's a really easy way to keep you from reading those labels if you're so inclined. He also just came out with an app that's totally free and you can scan whatever it is that's in your pantry, fridge, or freezer, and it will tell you if it's Bobby approved. If it's Bobby approved, it means it doesn't have cane sugar in it. He is definitely against cane sugar. And it has recognizable ingredients, whole food ingredients. There's another website called 100 Days of Real Food. Lisa Leek is the blogger at that site, and she has a family of 4, also tried a little experiment to go 100 days with just eating real food in her family, and she has a lot of great recipes, a lot of great tips. So check her out as well. I'll link both of those in the description box below. Secret number 5, research before you go out. So one of the biggest challenges that you're gonna face on a sugar-free lifestyle is eating out. Friends are gonna want you to come have brunch with them. There's gonna be celebrations that you're going to be invited to, thank goodness. But as we already discussed, sugar is involved in a lot of our celebrations in this culture. So you're gonna figure out how to navigate that. But that's okay, it's just gonna take some forethought. If you're a fan of fast food, this might be especially difficult for you because the sugar content in fast food is crazy. But, you know, you do you. I'm also not suggesting you should completely eliminate the fast food from your diet if that's what you want. But what I would encourage you to do is figure out how much sugar is there so that you're aware of it. Luckily, we live in a time when research is readily available on the internet. A lot of restaurants, including fast food restaurants, put their nutrition information on their websites. So all you have to do is go to your favorite restaurant's website and see if they have it available. You can start by looking at the breakdown of sugar content in some of my favorite places here in Austin. After doing my own research, I put a lot of that into a blog post, and so I'll link to that below so you can check that out if you're in the Austin area. So make your own, do your own research, write down what you figure out, and then maybe keep that as a note on your phone so that when you go somewhere, you know, I can order this, I can order that, so that you have that information readily available if you ever need it. Secret number 6, make your own treats. There are so many things that you can make at home without refined sugar. I've already mentioned a few of the things that I substituted for myself that I make at home. It's really a fun experiment to try these new things and figure out that you can do this. Cookies, brownies, pancakes, you can make all of those sugar-free. You could do a search on Pinterest for sugar-free desserts and just go crazy. There's a ton on there. You are going to experiment and you're going to find some that don't work for you, but you're gonna find some that do. And those are gonna be your favorites and you're gonna come back to them time and time again. One of my favorite treats that I figured out how to make during 2021 was breakfast cookies. Oatmeal and chocolate and peanut butter and ooey gooey, and you eat it for breakfast It's fantastic. And don't forget, Lily's makes sugar-free chocolate chips that can make your life easier. Secret number 7, forgive your mistakes. You will make them. That's okay. By far, the most important thing that you can do psychologically is allow yourself to slip up and be okay with it. You're gonna go to a party and you're gonna have a piece of cake. That's okay. You're gonna have a donut that a coworker brought in for some work celebration. That's okay. You're even gonna have days where you say, screw it. I'm going to Starbucks and I'm having 42 grams of sugar in a chai latte because it's gonna make me happy. And that's okay. But you know what's gonna happen? That is gonna be the sweetest chai latte you have ever had. It's gonna taste so much better than it did before because your body is not used to that sugar anymore. It's not used to that dopamine high. It's gonna be way better than anything you've ever had. And that's what a treat is supposed to be. The point is, don't beat yourself up. You are doing yourself a great service by cutting sugar out of your diet. I don't restrict my kids from when they go over to a friend's house. They can't have sugar. My mom has sugar on her counter every time we go over there and they partake in that. And that's fine. They're just not getting as much sugar as they used to because we don't have it at home. You have to be able to indulge on occasion for your own psyche and to bring you joy. And I fully support that. Thank you for watching this video. If you've made it this far, please consider leaving a like down below. It really helps my channel with the YouTube algorithm. And if you want to see more videos like this, please click the subscribe button. I make one video every Sunday as I try to follow my heart and save it from disease. See you next week.